Get ready to suck some dicks. Yep, pretty much. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Boneyard Arcade podcast. You seriously shuffled your shit as soon as I say that.
I need to get in spot. It's fine. Let's go.
Let's keep going. As always, I'm Lucky Bones.
And I'm Grimm Bones. And I think there's something different going on in today's show.
You're wearing your hat backwards.
I'm wearing my hat backwards this
Holy
week.
shit.
I was really hoping that you'd notice. I thought about it all day and just...
You went with it.
Yeah, but I did notice you're wearing white today with a little bit of pink, some black. Did you get shit all over you?
I actually did kind of, yeah.
You dyed and grew your hair since last week.
It's amazing.
Looks really good.
It's all those steroids that I've been taking. You pump them into your eyeballs and your hair grows really long. I don't know.
I was wondering what you were doing over there in the corner. You had no pants on. You were running around really weird and just putting stuff in your eyes.
That's exactly what I was doing.
Really
no, obviously I'm in cosplay. Well,
Cosplay,
Jesus Christ.
Okay, and so why the cosplay?
Well, I kind of made like a blood pact with everybody on Twitter.
Okay.
I said if the video got 1,000 views, which by now it totally does, and it's not sitting at 9 something right now. Not at all. And if we got 200 subscribers, I said that I would wear a costume. So
awesome.
Here it is.
Okay, and so who gets your underwear after the show?
The highest bidder.
Maybe this week's reward.
It could be you. No, seriously. Yeah, so it's really hot.
No, seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It's warm in here.
It is.
And you're not going to survive the full however long we manage to talk for.
Hey, look, if I drop dead, at least like move my corpse into the camera view so that it looks like you're talking to somebody.
We'll put you on the shelf and you'll just join all my other shit and we'll just...
Will you have me embalmed?
Yeah. Yeah, you'll be the new table. We'll put the microphone arm off you.
I was more thinking like a giant fish, you know, like Billy Bass, the singing one where you push the button and it goes, rah, rah, and he sings something country.
What would you say if you were to turn your head every time I pushed your button?
Oi, fuck off, cunt! Can we say that?
No, I don't think you can. YouTube, gone. See you later. Ejected.
We're not monetized
Trump is going to evict us. So the cosplay is cool. This is great. I believe you're doing a shoot, or you've done a shoot.
Nice segue. So seamless. Yeah, no, I did a shoot today. Shot with Joshy. And I was like, you know what, might as well wear it on the podcast too. So I feel really fat and I'm, you know, a bit exposed here, but that's all right. It's cool.
It's great because I love these kinds of suits, the Zente suits, the spandex. I've got the Spider-Man suit. One of the coolest things about it, regardless of how you feel in it, is that it's got some lines and shit on it that make it look awesome. You've got abs, you've got your little...
I'm so cut right now.
Your contoured bits, the airbrushed muscles and stuff are awesome.
And my boob, like they airbrushed my boob and it's just like...
It's got that...
I look like I've got hefty tits, but I really don't.
There was one time I did some airbrushing on a spandex suit.
You airbrushed my spandex?
Yeah. I've done a few, but there was this one time where afterwards I realized that put a belly button on it. Don't do that.
Don't do belly buttons?
Nah.
No?
Nah,
okay.
It just doesn't work because it looks like a little pot belly. Bad idea. Do not
so awkward.
do that. Yeah.
All right,
so
you
don't want to do that.
Lesson learned.
Yeah. So the cosplay thing, you've done a shoot in this. Is this going to be something that you wear to a convention soon?
Yes, and hopefully you will join me in the spandex again.
The plan is that I'll get the symbiote suit, the black suit, Spider-Man suit, and wear it to Oz Comic Con. I think that's the plan.
Yeah,
that's the plan.
Last I heard that was the plan.
That's the plan.
Have you changed it?
Yeah, no. Dan doesn't remember everything that Dan says.
Dan has a drinking problem. Kidding.
No. So we're going to be wearing these suits to Oz Comic Con. Hopefully by then it's not stinking hot. I think last year it was kind of cold from what I can remember.
I'm not good with seasons.
Yeah.
I'm really not.
I mean, either way, if you sweat in it, you freeze. If you don't sweat in it and it's cold outside, you freeze. So
pretty much. Pretty much,
so
yeah.
That's okay. So
but
not so bad.
I actually got asked a question on Twitter
that
I thought maybe it would be worth talking about tonight.
Yep.
Somebody asked me once on Twitter what it's like to cosplay in public.
Okay.
And it kind of ties in to what I did over the weekend. What I did is I went out and shot these costumes. Like I shot Gwenum and I shot Power Girl.
Yep.
And Power Girl, I didn't have dance tights for.
Okay.
And any of the people out there who've ever cosplayed a character that doesn't wear pants usually wears dance tights. And knows how important they are.
Yeah. If you don't know who Power Girl is, Google the character. You get to see the amazing costume that needs dance tights.
Yes, because I was 99% asked that day. And we were down at the beach because we went and shot on these amazing rocks and it just overlooks the sea and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, this is majestic as shit.
Yeah.
Got to record here and stuff.
So you were shooting in public, but it was down at like the beach with like a lighthousey kind of setting? Is it down like on the rocks on the beach?
It's on the rocks and it's like, and it just looks out into the ocean. Like, but at the same time, it's like a really popular kind of like photography touristy spot.
Okay.
And so people were down there and they were with their kids and they were walking around with their partners and I'm standing on the rocks and I'm in this white leotard and, you know, it's windy as shit. Holy damn, was it windy. And so I'm standing on the rocks in heels in this unitard with my cape blowing everywhere and I'm wearing a wig and I can't see shit and I've got gloves on and I'm trying to touch my face. I'm just yelling at Josh the whole time. I'm like, Josh, I can't see anything. I can't feel my hands. My feet hurt. I whinged the whole time. Yeah. Anybody who had spent time with me that day would have hated me.
Yeah.
Like if you'd met me on that day and you came to that shoot, you would have been like, holy shit, that lucky
I can
kid.
see Josh is in the distance. He's nodding. He's like, yes.
He's just like, oh my God, what a pain in the ass.
Life sucks.
Right. But the looks that you sometimes get.
Yep.
I heard people laughing. I don't know if they were laughing at me. I just automatically assumed that they were laughing at me. But at the same time, I don't know. A lot of people walk past and they're curious. Like, what are you? Are you a superhero? And you're like, yeah, I'm a superhero. And they're like, what's this for? And then you try and explain what cosplay is. And it's just like, oh, I dress up as characters when I make a costume and stuff. And they look at you like, yeah, but why? And that's probably the biggest thing is when people say, yeah, why? And I'm like, oh, fun?
Yeah.
They're like, seems like a lot of effort for fun. And I'm like,
do you have fun? Do you know what fun is?
But then sometimes I look at it and I'm like, I didn't have to stand on the rocks in a unitard with the wind in my hair and blowing my cape everywhere with heels on that hurt.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
But I did it.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was actually enjoyable.
Yeah,
it's
been fun. I mean, I've had some shoots in the city and I have worn costumes in the city for different events. I know you have as well. So,
yeah.
I mean, going from somewhere that's like the beach and, you know, where it's a bit more of an outdoorsy, not so populated area, to looking at the city and the looks that you'll get in the city, walking through the city streets sometimes, especially if it's not an event on. If you've got like a free comic book day or something, and there is like 80 to 100 or, 200 people walking around in costumes, the people walking past tend to be like, oh, yeah, there's an event on. Yeah. But when you're like the only one person or two people walking through the city and you are there in like your Robin outfit with your eye mask and cape and you're walking and then you sit in the Pitt Street Mall in Sidney, the Pitt Street Mall food court, and you sit down with your cape on and your eye mask, holding your bow staff, your gloves on, eating like a burger from KFC, people just look at you really weird.
They're just like, this guy he's getting out. Like I can see he's getting out, but he needs to get out less.
Yeah.
He needs to go back home.
Yeah, congratulations, you got out, go home. Because
take it home.
Your parents haven't looked after you properly just yet. Yeah, it feels like that. I think it's even hard sometimes. You'll be at a convention and people who aren't going to the convention, who are walking past outside, will look at it and be like, what are these geeks doing? What are these nerds doing here? Like
that was pretty much the way I felt today. Like we went down to Olympic Park, and Olympic Park is where we usually go for Supernova and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, cool, I know this place. And I got there and there was no convention on and there were no people dressed up and I'm like, holy shit. And I took off my coat and I'm standing in this suit and I'm like, this is not inconspicuous at all.
Yeah.
I'm this big white blob bouncing around, Olympic Park, and I'm like, are we going to get thrown out? Are people going to come over and call me a hooker? What's going to happen here?
Did you get random people just coming over and like holding their camera phone up or taking photos or anything?
No, not this time around. There was a lady at the Power Girl shoot who came over and she's like, can I please take a photo of you? You look great. And I'm like, thank you. That makes me feel a lot better because I feel like everybody's been watching me calling me a freak the whole time.
Yeah, I think the upside to the whole cosplay in public thing is when you get kids recognizing the character.
Kids lose their mind. Yeah. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. If you're wearing a cape, they see you and they're like, superhero.
Yeah, instantly.
Dad, there's a superhero here. I think there was a little girl down at the Rocks who was with her dad or a boy or something, and they thought when I was dressed as Power Girl they were seeing a superhero. They're like, Dad, there's a superhero over there.
Yeah.
And she's like, yes, I'm not a slut. I'm a hero.
That's the thing. It's like you'll either be looked at as a freak, you're looked at as a hooker, or you're looked at as just someone who is a bit different.
Yeah.
And they look at you and they're like, oh yeah, they're doing a thing. Let's avoid them.
Yeah, no, but to be fair, I think cosplay in public is hard, but it's really fun.
Oh yeah.
As long as you just don't give a shit about what other people are thinking of you, because at the end of the day, they're going to walk past and they're like, that's weird, and they'll keep walking and they'll forget.
Yeah, and usually, I mean, if you're at the point where you are wearing cosplay to begin with, you usually don't mind what other people will think.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a hobby that is so out there and different to what everyday dress is like, and it's literally like people look at that who don't cosplay. They look at that and they're like, Halloween is once a year.
Yeah.
That is when we might dress up, and usually it's something sexy because, hey, I'm at the office party and I'm having some fun.
Yeah.
They will wear something sexy, but then they look at it and they're like, why are you wearing costumes when it's not even Halloween, you freak?
Yeah.
But yeah, you've got other people who respect what goes on. I think people would look at this suit and realize they'd first go, what the hell? And then they look at it and be like, that's actually pretty cool. And that's
You hear people, they'll identify a costume like by the vagueness of something. They'll like, recognize it's a skin tight suit and it's got a spider on it. Oh, Spider Girl.
Yeah.
Immediately. Or, they've got a cape and they look like they've got, red and blue and white going on. They're Supergirl.
Batman.
Yeah. Everything's Superman, Batman, Spider-Girl, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's always funny when people are like, oh, you Spider-Girl? And I'm like, kind of close. Spider-Girl's an actual character. I'm not. Yeah. I'm not that one.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to... The other thing is... one thing that I'm looking forward to cosplaying soon, besides the other plans that we've made, is Pennywise.
Pennywise the dancing clown from It.
I've been wanting to do it for a long time, and not the original Pennywise because the movie was great for its time and it's a classic. And
Tim Curry is like the man.
That's right, and I think it's great. I love that movie. I especially loved it when I was younger because it scared the shit out of the people I was with when we were watching it.
Not you though.
I love that new Pennywise design. And
the forehead is huge.
Yeah, and I'm just getting like everything together now so that I can get that clown going. It's not going to be in time for the movie, I don't think. I don't know. I'm not too sure what the release date is of that movie.
I don't know. I'm excited for it anyway.
But I really want to do that clown costume.
Are you going to do like all the prosthetics and stuff?
Yeah, most definitely. It'll be the prosthetics, the big gigantic clown wig at the back. I'm going to carry around some red balloons. Tea soak the clown outfit,
Sounds nuts.
It's gonna be great because
be amazing.
People hate clowns. You've seen the It trailer, right?
Yes, I have. Of course. It was like one of the only books that I ever read as a kid.
Yeah, and I think this past weekend, they actually released they're referring to it as the full It trailer.
The full It trailer?
Yeah, it's like the full version of all the little mini snippets.
Oh, okay, right.
So it was a full It trailer, and honestly, it just made the movie look even cooler. There was some scenes in this little trailer that showed Pennywise in different positions we haven't seen him in. It doesn't show much about adults. I know the first movie was it was so based on the fact that these adults were...
It was based around... So it focused on the kids when they were younger. Yep. Like, so they encountered Pennywise when they were kids, and then they defeated him. And then they grew up, and then he came back, and they had to re-defeat him as adults. And it was like this whole thing where it was like, they're still scared to that day.
It makes me feel like I don't know if they will, but they may stretch this movie out over 2 movies.
I hope they don't.
Yeah.
I really want it to be about the kids because that's just... Look, the book goes into them being adults and stuff like that. Like, but I like the vibe that I get from this movie because it reminds me of Stranger Things.
Yep.
And so watching these kids like go around on their bikes and it's like old school and stuff like that, I'm like, this is the best. And I want a whole movie of that.
Yeah. The kid that plays Will, is it Will?
Well, looking off screen for Chloe.
You can say it loud. Mike.
Yes?
It's Mike.
Oh.
He plays Mike in Stranger Things. He's in this film.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's one of the kids in I think it's the Losers Club. That's what they refer to.
Yeah, the Losers Club.
He's one of the kids. So
damn.
There's this whole Stranger Things vibe in there, but at the same time, it's got that old school It feel to it. Obviously,
I'm keen.
It's It. So
I'm amazingly keen.
Yeah.
As a bean.
Other horror movie, we're gonna be seeing
Annabelle. Yes.
Soon as well.
But it's Annabelle.
It's the second Annabelle movie.
Shoot, I can't remember what the name of it is.
Yeah, it's the second
Annabelle
movie.
Creation.
Yeah, and she was from what was the original movie? It was The Conjuring.
Thank you, Chloe.
Reference off screen.
Annabelle features in the Conjuring movies.
Yep.
So I remember in one of the scenes, I think they're called the Warrens.
Yep.
Yeah. So their kid goes downstairs into like their little, artifact room where they keep all of the stuff that's been exorcised or whatever. And Annabelle's in like a glass case. And she goes down there and Annabelle's not in there and everyone freaks the hell out. They're just like, holy shit, the doll's not where it's meant to be. And she's been mentioned in the other Conjuring movies as well. Like the paranormal investigator gets interviewed by a dude. He comes down and he's like, oh, is that the real Annabelle doll?
Yeah.
Annabelle Bell. dyslexia, not even once.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, yeah, we know about Annabelle. She's got her own movie, and now we're going to go see the second one, which is apparently a prequel.
Yeah, it's a prequel to the first Annabelle movie that I saw, and I
never saw it.
I mean, I love the Conjuring movies; they're great. When they tried to make this spin-off, which it kind of was a spin-off. I mean, it's the Annabelle, it's a standalone Annabelle film. It had its moments in it that were good, but it kind of left me wanting more. So I'm really hoping that this new Annabelle movie, which looks pretty good, it's set out on like a countryside farm. It's a house that is like an orphanage home, I think, to young girls who obviously are all going to be interested in this doll. And it just looks like it's going to be pretty creepy. So I'm hoping for something creepy.
Anytime people are out on a farm and it's like secluded and they're just like, man, this house is huge. It's like, oh my God, you people are going to die.
So many ways to fucking die in that house.
So much bad shit is going to happen to you. And it happens every time. It happened in The Conjuring as well. It's like, man, I'm so happy we're moving away from the city. And they go to this murder hut in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, what is wrong with you people? Jesus Christ, will you learn? Okay, I'm done.
Yeah. It's going to be good.
I'm excited.
Fingers crossed it's going to be good. We'll go to the event. We'll take a couple of little photos of it. I don't think it's like a full-blown premiere or anything. It's just a screening.
Yeah.
But we will have a review. I'm assuming we will, a Boneyard review on that. That should be really interesting.
I'm just glad that there's horror movies in the cinemas. You know what I mean? Like, there's an oversaturation of rom-coms and chick flicks and action movies. And those are great. Like, don't get me wrong. I hella love, like, Legally Blonde and Miss Congeniality are some of my favorite chick flicks. But then it's so hard to sell a horror movie to people to be something more than just a, oh my God, I was so scared when I went and saw this movie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I was having this conversation with Chloe today. We were watching some videos of when the Friday the 13th movies came out, and when
like originally, like the original ones?
Original ones.
Okay.
And the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. They literally treated Jason and Freddy like celebrities in like our celebrity universe that we've got. They were practically, back in their time, the Tom Cruise and the Brad Pitt of the celebrity world. They used to be on talk shows to promote the events. They used to be on things like the wrestling. They'd make special appearances.
That's amazing.
Chucky made an appearance in like WCW back in the day.
That's amazing.
And it's so good to see it happening, not so to that extent, but we're seeing horror movies make a mainstream kind of return. Because back in like the early 90s, late 80s, they used to be like celebrities. You'd see them everywhere. Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street were awesome. People loved seeing Jason and Freddy. And it was just really cool. That went missing for a long time.
Yeah, it's like people just go there and they're like, it was scary. And that's it. I'm like, yeah, but what did you think of the movie? And they're like, it's a horror movie. There's nothing else other than was I scared? I'm like, but were you entertained? And they're just like, oh.
My fingers are crossed, and I'm really looking forward to when they make the spin-off from the other Conjuring film involving the nun.
Oh, yeah. That thing, like Vatic or something. I can't remember what the demon's name is.
Yeah.
But that the nurse with the face, and oh my God, so scary.
Yeah,
I like that.
And that was a cool character.
Is that going to be a spin-off?
Yeah, they want to make a standalone nun film, so that's going to be cool. Yeah. Recently, Chucky, they made a new Chucky, and that went straight to DVD. Which is unfortunate.
That is unfortunate because Chucky is super cute.
I know.
Hanging out over here.
Yeah.
He's adorable.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you cosplay him one day, please?
Yeah, I want to do like a little punky version of him. I think that'd be cool.
I'll do Tiff.
A little mohawk and some scarring and stuff. It'd be pretty mad. So
hectic.
That would be good fun, I think. So yeah, so horror movies wise, it looks like things are coming back. It's going to be really fun to see where horror goes in the next year. I said this last year with some of the good ones that we had as well, but I think we're finally on this nice little path of having some really cool horror movies come out. They've even made a new Saw movie.
What?
Yeah.
What? How many are we up
Jigsaw.
to, though?
So it's not Saw 57, it's like Jigsaw.
All right, okay, fair enough.
It's either him making a return from the grave somehow, or, as they all do, or it's going to be a person who is inspired by his work, and he's left behind some content for whoever wants to pick up.
Wasn't that Amanda in like the second one?
Yeah, I'd say she's going to be back in it because she's not really in anything else, is she?
I don't know.
I haven't seen her in anything.
She's probably not busy.
So it looks like she's going to make a return. So fingers crossed we end up somewhere with, some really good horror movies in the future.
I can only hope for that to happen.
Jigsaw, that would be nice.
All right. Well, we touched on you cosplaying as Pennywise.
Yes.
And I actually did something else the other week that I kind of want to talk about, but we should talk about that after this short ad break. Welcome back, everyone, from that short ad break. I hope you enjoyed those bread gloves where you can turn everything that you love into a sandwich. Bread gloves, they're good.
You are not wearing cosplay anymore.
Yeah, no, magical outfit change. I was very hot. Also, pugs are rad and pizza is good.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching the commercial and then
The bread gloves.
you were there and there was just no...
Pow!
Yeah.
Right there.
The hell is that?
It's the power of editing and movie magic.
Why aren't I changed?
Well, you didn't bring another outfit,
Why
did
didn't you edit me?
Why don't you just edit yourself, all right?
These guys suck.
Why don't you edit yourself a better attitude?
What are you doing? Why have you
I'm sorry.
got this? What's here?
These are my notes, so I know what I'm doing. So that
I thought you were downloading that game.
Okay. Oh, the sex
The
game?
game.
The house party game?
Yeah.
Dude, that's copped. Okay, that's copped so much. Like, it's a huge thing.
Yeah, I know. It was removed from Steam. Do you want to give some context as to what we're talking about? Because this game it's a bit controversial.
Yeah, it didn't exactly sit well for me, but you know, there are certain reasons why. It's basically a game where you go around and you're at a house party, as the name suggests, and what you have to do is you like get drunk and fight people, and you've got to do all these like naughty kind of missions and stuff like that. You basically go around and you're a delinquent.
Yeah, so it's in steps, right? So you'll approach somebody, it'll come up with a bunch of prompts, and then you choose the phrase that you think is best going to get you what you need.
Like Dream Daddy.
Yeah.
When you romance all the daddies.
Well, yeah, and then this one kind of takes it that step further. And from what I hear, there were challenges in there, like getting people to... convincing them to walk around the party with no clothing on.
Yeah.
So that they could be made fun of.
Hey, Gabs, you want $5? Yes. Take off your top. All right, let's go.
I
That's
mean...
it. That's how you do it.
I was going to say 10.
Oh, damn.
But
You underestimate my value of myself.
Now on Patreon for $5.
That's awful. But you could also... The reason why it got taken down is because it's kind of like sexually explicit.
Yeah,
like,
well,
you
it
can
sounds
have
kind of
sex.
shit, doesn't it?
What?
The whole game is about convincing girls to drink a lot
Yeah.
so that they'll have sex with you.
That was the shit part. That was the part where I was like, no, that's not okay. I'm cool with sex. I'm cool with, you know, debauchery and getting naked and
Getting into fights.
getting into fights. Violence is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I love violence.
I mean, Mortal Kombat would be nothing without it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Mortal Kombat is life, pretty much. Just spines and blood and shit everywhere.
But it's the whole drinking bit.
Yeah.
The getting her drunk or, getting him drunk to have sex.
It's consent. Like, in the end, it's like you bang somebody if they say that you're allowed to bang them.
Yeah.
And you both agree that you're banging for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it got taken off Steam. Some people are saying that it's too sexy. But for me, the most, like, the worst part of it was get this chick drunk and bang her. It's like, nah.
So does that make it, that doesn't make it too sexy, that just makes it too dicky. Like, it's too...
Too dicky.
Well, it's like, that's a dickish move, like,
Yeah.
to throw into a game, I guess. So that just means that the game was way too stupid
Yeah.
for people who are stupid to tell the two things apart from real life and video game.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
So they've taken it down,
Yeah.
and I think they're making some changes to the game.
Yeah.
And then eventually they'll come to an agreement as to what is an acceptable game to put up in the end.
Fair.
Hopefully, like, it sounds like it could be a lot of fun. It's just like there's a few aspects of it that need tweaking, and it's just like, you got to dumb it down for everyone in the end.
Yeah, I think this game got some traction online before it was taken off Steam as well. It ended up being played by PewDiePie.
Yeah.
And when he's playing something, he's got at least a few eyes that are going to pay attention to what he's doing.
It's a couple million eyes. I couldn't cough properly just then. That was me subtle coughing.
Yeah, and so this is a game that many people have seen. I think it had like 35,000 downloads before it was taken off Steam. I guess they're going to ask the question of, do we create a part of Steam where we can have these kinds of games where people are going to go and be responsible adults, download the games, play them, realize they're video games, and leave them? I mean, GTA exists, and there is stupid shit that happens in the world, and people try to blame GTA, but really it's a video game, and there's all kinds of stuff happening in there. This might get that same treatment, but I think it needs a bit of a tweak before it gets back.
That is a subject that's friggin' huge. Is there a direct correlation between what people do in real life and video games and stuff like that? It's just too bloody big to discuss.
And it will only get bigger with VR because then you are really in the scene.
The only game that I ever want to play on VR is Bar Fight.
Bar Fight?
Yeah, you're a little dude and you get smashed and then you fight people.
Don't you drink to become bigger?
Yeah,
because
you
it
get
makes
big.
you heaps more
you
confident.
You get smashed and you're like, "Rrrr," and then you Hulk out and then you smash people.
Yeah.
And I know that that's a video game.
But see, that's the handy use of VR.
What do you mean?
I mean, who wants to go into a bar and really fight?
Well, Dan, you tried to fight everyone in Texas. You'd walk past a bar, you'd hear somebody talking, you'd be like, what? And pull you by your collar.
Only if they seemed to come in the way of us being safe. Which wasn't anyone in the end, because look, I danced with more poles than I did fight anybody.
You danced with like 40 poles on the way back to the hotel.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should move on and talk about prosthetics because I said that we would, and we just totally went in a different direction.
No, I know, but
that's
I
right.
thought you were looking up the sexy game.
No, I have house party written here as a note, so there you go. We did something constructive. All right, prosthetics. I'm not talking about like limbs and stuff. I'm talking about like face prosthetics, like special effects makeup and things like that.
Before we jump into special effects makeup and stuff like that,
yes,
can we talk about them limb prosthetics for a sec?
Why?
Do you know there are people out there who actually have like all their limbs but are really interested in losing one so they can get a fake one? There's a word for it. Google it. I don't know what it is. But
Google
literally,
it. What are we, journalists?
There are people out there who are like, I really want a fake arm. I really want a fake leg.
I can see the desire to have something like, you know, cyborg prosthetics, like arms and stuff that are made out of like adamantium and you can like punch through another person.
Yeah.
But I can't see an able-bodied person thinking, you know, it'd be great if I didn't have an arm or a leg or something like that. That's weird.
It's like one of those weird kinks where...
Oh, I'm not kink shaming.
No. I
don't want to kink shame anybody.
No. It's like one of those, like, it can be... whatever it is that you're interested in. But this is one of those things people are interested in. They're like really into the idea of having like a fake limb.
Fair enough.
I'd totally be down to have Jack's arms.
Oh, yes. Oh my God.
Like, or like legs that I could switch on to like be normal legs, like
the Chicken Kingsman with the knife legs, and she's just guts people.
Or I like lift my foot up and a rocket shoots out the bottom, and
or you have a toaster in your leg that just makes toast.
I've heard that could be interesting.
I hear it's practical and that you don't have to clean it.
I would also need a peanut butter thigh on the other leg just so that I could work the two together.
All right, moving along.
But let's get into the prosthetics we're here to talk about.
Oh my God, yes.
You recently went to a thing, you modelled at a thing called IMATS.
Yeah, which is like International Makeup Artists Convention kind of thing.
What's the T for?
I don't remember.
I was waiting for the whole
something.
thing. I was like, trade show.
Trade show?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Oh yeah, there's an S at the end. IMATS, there you go.
Yeah.
High five.
Well done. I like it.
Good high
that
five.
was good. I was like, holy shit.
White people have to confirm that their high five was good, otherwise they have to retake it. So white. Yeah, so I went to IMATS and I was lucky enough to model for a special effects makeup artist that I've been following for quite a while on Instagram. His name is Sidney. His handle is I Shoot the Dead. If you're interested, I'll probably put it in the description. Check it out. You can see the work that we did. Basically, I've dabbled in, you know, special effects makeup before, things like liquid latex and adhesives for your face and stuff like that. And 99% of the time, home jobs are not good. Like something gets stuck to something else and you end up losing an eyebrow, or, you know, you end up with your face stuck to a door and then the fireman involved, and then you have to explain to your parents what you were doing with the turkey baster in the kitchen in the first place.
And why you keep leaking when you walk around the room.
Exactly. It's all so weird. So to go to IMATS and to sit down and to actually have somebody do my makeup properly for a change and not just tell me, maybe that won't come out. It was really interesting because prosthetics, in my experience, the cheap ones, not the best, and they feel kind of bad. And they smell. And then I went and I did a full face half bald cap witch prosthetic. Fortunately, I didn't have to wear contact lenses because my eyes were another prosthetic over the top that looked like my eye had been shown shut. Shown shut. Sewn shut. I've done that twice. Let's get a counter. Gabby's dyslexic counter down the bottom. Josh, put it up here. That's a job for later. And so I had my eyes sewn shut.
Good.
Nice.
I like it.
We'll high five.
All right. Good high five. I like it.
And it was just a really cool experience. It was actually a very comfortable, enjoyable experience having my makeup done. And it got me thinking of all the times that you've taken your life into your own hands and applied a full head of liquid latex. And how not good that is.
I mean, if you do it right, and I'm gonna tell you now, I've done my research on all this kind of stuff. If you've done it right, you actually turn out fine at the end, which is like, it's fine. I mean, I've done my research, and when I did the full head of liquid latex, not a problem. But I have made the mistake of wearing rigid collodion for like 9 hours.
Rigid collodion's that gel that you put across your skin and it like pinches it in.
It actually takes the moisture out of your skin and pinches it, makes it look like a scar. Which is great. It's awesome. It's easy to apply. You can find it in comic shops, in makeup shops, or Halloween stores when Halloween comes around.
Stores.
Yeah, costume stores have it. wearing it for ages is not a problem either. If you have a shower and you use the warm water to get the moisture back in your skin, it peels off. It's really good. But I have this tendency to wear the rigid collodion and then pick it off in the car on the way home.
That is just such a no-no.
Yeah. The amount of times I've done that and taken like a whole bunch of skin off my face. So that's your bad stuff. But I really am into special effects makeup.
I know.
I love doing it.
You posted on Instagram recently a picture of your prosthetic Joker makeup that you did once, and that was so cool because the Joker's been done a million times, but how many times do you see it like in somebody's own take with prosthetics? Yeah,
I think the reason we did this, it was for a Halloween cruise as well. So I was like, well, I just want to be more clowny, so I'm going to mix Joker in with a bit of a clown, and we'll go from there. If you get the right stuff and if you learn the right techniques, you can really do it well, as you would have seen at IMATs. Like, that's really cool. And even doing it at home, it's an expensive hobby.
Yeah,
it is a very expensive hobby, especially to get all the perfect stuff that you need. But, I mean, if you look around, I have a piece here, and it's of the clown that I used.
Got a piece here. Here's one he prepared earlier.
I prepared this earlier. Okay, so this is from the Scream team. And that's pretty much what you get. There is a nose in there somewhere as well, but it's only very tiny.
Going to check with broadcast on the glare on this one.
Can we see that? I'm going to... Yep, there.
There we go.
Beautiful.
Thank you, broadcast. Love you long time.
Excellent. Okay, so this is from the Scream team, and this is the clown prosthetic.
It looks kind of like a vagina.
Yeah, it does. And all the magic really happens once it's on your face, and when you start to apply your little bits of paint and your extra little pieces that go onto it.
Apply vagina to face, magic happens.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then you've got liquid latex around the outside of it to blend it into skin, and there are so many techniques that you need to know. Like, did you know that you use a glue stick on your eyebrows with these things? If you're doing a home job, yeah, you can use just a normal glue stick that you would have used in school to glue your paper into your books. Use a glue stick over your eyebrows so that you don't rip them out when you take the prosthetic off.
Ah, there you go.
Most people don't realize that a glue stick does that job for you.
Yeah, but then you have to wash out the glue with like warm water afterwards.
Yeah. So this is something that you'll probably take off when you get home. And something like that in Australia particularly, I think we're paying about $120 for a prosthetic like that. And then you need your liquid latex, you need your prosthetic glue, your prosthetic remover, because without the remover, the glue stays on for a week.
I remember we were at Haven and you were doing a demonstration for Deadpool makeup.
We had 20 minutes to get that done.
Yeah. There wasn't a lot of time, and so I helped by holding a hairdryer.
It was a heat gun. Yeah.
It was a heat gun. See, normally I would use a hairdryer on a low setting, but you brought a heat gun. You're like, yeah, this is quicker.
And we put it on the high setting because we had 20 minutes.
God! Yeah. So I'm sitting there blasting your head, and you're telling me whether or not your face is burning. Yeah. At this point, you're like, yeah, further away. Okay, go back in.
Yeah,
it's good
there's
now.
like certain depths that you can be at before my head feels like it's on fire. So we've got to you need someone who really the communication's got to be great on this so that you don't end up with a hole in there. But it was good. It worked out well.
It looks amazing. It looks really cool. Yeah. But at the same time, when you were done with it, you know what you did? You found a piece, you hooked it, and you peeled. Yeah. You just peeled it. And then we were sharing a room at the time for Haven, and I went into the shower the next morning, and there was just liquid latex fucking everywhere over the shower. It looked like you had a skin condition.
Yeah. Liquid latex looks like a second skin, especially with all the foundation and stuff you put on it. And so it's so good a lot of the time to just peel it off and have it flailing and hanging, and you'll be walking around and people looking at you like, what the hell is this freak doing?
It's just like you need to go back inside. Yeah. I had that at IMATs. I wore the makeup for an hour or two, walked around, I did some photos and stuff like that. It looked incredible.
Yeah. How did it feel on the face?
Do you know what? This was the surprising part. I've never worn a full prosthetic. I've worn bits and pieces of ones. Yep. This one was so comfortable. Yep. It was ridiculous. And it was Sidney did it really well, obviously. He does it for a living. Yep. He's worked on shows. He's worked with a bunch of people in the industry. And so to have him do it, I was just yeah, if this is how it feels all the time, then sign me up. And he's like, if you're going to do cheap home jobs, there's a chance that it won't feel like that. Yep. But if you take the time and you try really hard, it probably will. Yeah. And the prosthetic was actually mixed with different nice smelling things. His friend makes prosthetics. Yeah. And it actually smelled like vanilla. Yeah. It smelled incredible, and it was really lightweight. And, the only thing that was a bit uncomfortable were the adhesives and things like that. So Sidney was cramming stuff up my nose and doing it around this area, and I was just that
was just so you didn't die from inhalation.
Exactly. Yeah. He was breathe in, and I'm and then he's like, okay, now you can breathe. I'm like, excellent. But I walked around and I wore the makeup for an hour, and then when it came time to take it off, I'm like, oh my God, I'm dreading this part the most. He's like, why is that? I'm like, the amount of times that I've just ripped stuff off my face, and it's just not been a pleasant experience.
Not when you're at IMAX.
I know, right? He's like, we're going to do it a little bit differently to that. I'm like, And so he comes over and he's got this bottle and he's like, this will just take it right off. And I'm like, bullshit, I don't believe you for a second, but all right. And so he starts applying it and this thing just peels.
Yeah.
And it just basically falls off. But then Josh took like a picture of me halfway through the removal process. And because Sidney painted the prosthetic red before he went over with flesh tones,
Your face
as you peeled it off, I just looked like I'd been in a horrible accident. It was haunting. And I was like, I could just leave it like this. Just leave it like this and scare people who I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
But the removal process at IMATS was top notch. 10 out of 10 would go again and have my face made into a hag.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
It's good fun. I love wearing prosthetics. And that's just because of the reaction people give you.
And you feel so different. You don't feel like yourself anymore. It's one thing to cosplay and put on a costume. Your face is still pretty much the same.
Yep.
But to put on a prosthetic
changes you entirely.
I was this blind witch. And so I had a jar and it had my eyeballs in it and there was a light. And so you switch the light on and it looks like this jar is just this orange liquid with eyes in. So I was walking around IMATS like holding my eyes up to people and like bumping into them and they'd turn around and like, oh, sorry. And I'd hold my eyes up to them and like, oh, Jesus, no. Please, Lord. I scared a bunch of women. They were walking around like, oh my God, that's so scary. Oh my God, it's following us. Mom, it's following us. And I would just walk after them. And it's like, no, seriously, she's freaking me out now. And I'm just like, this is the best. So and I think that's kind of like why old horror movies. I was watching Evil Dead the other day.
Yep.
It was on TV. I was looking at it and I'm like, I really appreciate special effects makeup artists now.
And
what it takes to apply these to people and have them walk around in it, stuff like that. It's really cool. Yeah,
it's good fun. Has it really pushed you to want to do it again? Have you got any ideas on anything new that you would like to try?
I'm actually doing it's not so much prosthetics. I'm doing a body painting job with some people in a few weeks' time where they're basically going to paint me up to look like a bit like Mystique from X-Men. Yep. So doing IMATS was kind of like a push in the direction that I wanted to model makeup for people a little bit, but like the cool out there kind. But I feel like I would want to make my own character, like buy a prosthetic and then build on that. And kind of make a character from like a universe that I enjoy, like maybe Guardians of the Galaxy or something horror, things like that. Like, the nurse from the Conjuring series doesn't necessarily have a lot of prosthetics, but it's really scary. So maybe to make something really horrifying, that would be interesting.
Yeah, I think the best part about it is just being someone totally different other than yourself. Like,
I'm pretty cool, but like, sometimes.
I did prosthetics for Skeletor.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh my gosh.
Even wearing the prosthetic in a skull mask the whole day with a hood over my head. It's perfect because people literally just look at you and have no idea who you are. They're shitting their pants half the time if they're afraid of things easily, like if they're easily scared. And they appreciate the time that you'll put into that kind of stuff. So how long did it take at IMATS to apply the whole lot of
It's kind of a blur to me, broadcast. Do you remember 5 hours, 4 hours?
4 hours, yeah.
Good couple of hours.
Yeah.
I was sitting in a chair, but I was really relaxed at one point because I had both of my eyes covered in prosthetics. I kept closing them.
Yeah.
And Sidney was like, I have to keep talking to you because it does happen. People have often fallen asleep when getting prosthetics done, especially when both of their eyes are closed.
Yeah.
And so, but the time just kind of went by. I really didn't notice, but it takes a while.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's cool. I've always had a thing for prosthetics. So I think if you're interested in prosthetics, look into it, learn how to do it properly.
And learn how to remove it properly as well. And skin test everything first. You might be allergic to something.
Buy the shit you need. Honestly. Buy the shit you need to remove it properly, to apply it properly. Buy the stuff you need to apply underneath your prosthetic so that you have a comfortable face for the whole day. And buy the good stuff.
I just can't think of anything worse than applying a prosthetic that is uncomfortable and then removing it incorrectly and then just having shitty skin, and it's a horrible experience if you don't do it well.
It works really well for cosplay. So convention wise, definitely, especially if it's winter and you're not going to sweat like crazy and melt it off your own face. Prosthetics are the best.
Man, I hate cosplays. Like having to cosplay to seasons. I was thinking about it the other day actually. I was like, when we went and did Sydney Oz Comic Con.
Yep.
And I think it's in October. I could be wrong.
End of October.
I think so.
Yep.
And so that's spring? But it was cold.
Yeah.
I remember we did it and it was cold, and I was wearing He-Man, It was a stupid costume. It was amazing. It was a good costume. Like, I had a great time. You looked incredible as Skeletor. But I remember standing in the cold and just hating my life because I picked a dumb costume to wear at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And all I can think of now that we've brought it up is if you're going to make a costume and take it to a convention, just make sure that you're aware of what season you're going to be wearing it in.
Yeah.
And the environment that you're going to be wearing it in.
Or prepare to suffer for your art.
Yeah, that's usually what we go with.
Hence why you were sitting here sweating in Gwenham
So sweaty.
tonight.
It was so sweaty. I was like, I held my pits to here. I was just like, all right, now don't lift your arm up because everyone will see that you're a human being and you sweat. But then they'll realize that you're not human because you sweat so much. And that'll be awkward. So there you go.
Excellent.
Anyway, I wanted to talk about one last thing.
Yeah, hit me up.
Just really briefly. You messaged me over the weekend. You're like, hey, bro, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm busy. And you're like, that's a shame because I'm going to the city and I'm picking up something from King's Comics.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you getting?
Oh, cool. Okay, so it's sitting here in the background, and I can take it off because it's really light. So I can grab it, and I'll pull him over here and show everybody. So he wasn't that expensive either. I don't know how many people will be familiar with this, but if you were ever a fan of the 1966 Batman, I think it's 66 if I'm looking at that year, 1966 Batman, Bruce used to slide down a bat pole to get into the Batcave.
Right? Bat pole.
The bat pole was hidden in a bookcase or in a bookshelf, so it was behind.
Oh,
it was
sneaky.
like a secret
Here, I'll hold him
door.
like that for you.
Cool. In order to get into in order to open the bookshelf and get to the bat pole, he used to have to press a hidden button, and that hidden button is inside Shakespeare's head, who was in the center of his little bookshelf. And so King's Comics currently is the place that I picked this up from. It's really cool. It's a money bank. It's like those...
I was wondering what the hell it was
Yeah.
because when you were telling me about it, I was like, it's cool. It's really obscure, and that's kind of why I wanted you to talk about it a little bit because I posted a picture and somebody was like,
What is that?
Want. And I'm like, how do you know what that is? Unless it's just a really cool looking thing. Like, I honestly, if you would just had that in your room, I'd be like, Dan, you're such a nerd.
Yeah, what the hell? Why have you got this? Because that's
Yeah.
totally not me. But as soon as I saw it, I knew exactly what it was. And all it is currently missing is a bright red, old school corded phone. Like the old...
Yeah, why don't you have one of those yet?
That's on its way.
I'm seeing rum. I'm seeing rum. I'm seeing...
If I get
bourbon.
a red phone, where's all the rum going to sit?
You might just have to not put it up on your shelves.
Well, yeah, we'll just have to leave it on the floor. But
that's really cool.
It's cool. They're available now as well. I like him. He's cool. He's not heavy. You put all your money in him, and he's huge. I'm going to eventually...
Do you have that much
wire him
money?
up. Yeah, for sure.
Send us, everyone send us $1 so we can put it in the money bank.
If you want to send us $1, we'll put it in the Shakespeare head.
Please don't actually send us money, Jesus. That would be so weird. Especially if it's coins.
Send us money.
Fuck you to whoever sends a shrapnel.
Send us money.
But yeah, thank you for
There
sharing.
is a little display.
He's
Shakespeare.
not light. When you said he was
Really?
light and you picked him up,
He's
I was
light.
like, no, he's not.
Yeah, I like him. I think he's cool.
I don't work out enough.
Oh well, smash my TV.
I hear you don't need that anyway.
No, it's all right. Once there's money in there, we can get another one. Yeah, so he's cool. He's the purchase of the week. Now, I don't aim to get something new for this shelf every week. Otherwise, I will literally have no money.
Yep.
But I'm trying to mix things up a little bit. So maybe we'll get some horror going on. I'd love to get some horror going on.
I love
up there
that
one
you
week,
have
so
enough stuff in your room to change the set every time.
Yeah, it'll probably go back to what we had last week in like a few weeks' time. But we'll muck around and see what we can get.
We should make an I Spy game.
Yeah.
So we should hide like as much crap in there as we can, and then be like, pick like we'll hide something, and we'll have to get people to find it.
Something, and if you find it, you win a prize.
Well, you win the $1 that you sent us to put in the Shakespeare head.
We'll send you $1.
We'll send you $1. Yeah, I Spy. It's coming at you.
A metaphoric $1.
I also like the idea of the game that we came up with when we were talking about the podcast before we started.
Okay, explain it.
I don't remember if it was a game or if it was just a thing that we wanted to do. Goon of the Month.
I like Goon of the Month. I think Goon of the Month is a good idea. If you don't know what Goon is, do you want to explain Goon? Should I explain?
Goon is cheap cask wine that comes in a box and it comes in a foil packet that's pretty much inflatable and it's piece of shit.
Oh, it's best.
Not good.
It's so Aussie.
And that's why I thought, I was like,
Who doesn't really like
a bunch of Australians, we wouldn't do it on the podcast. We put it, on like some underground site, like the black market of the YouTubes. I don't know. Does that exist?
If you like the idea of us having Goon of the Month, even if it comes down to the fact that we'll get a particular goon We won't show you what it is. We'll just take it out of the box and keep it in its little sack. We'll play a video game of some sort. We'll record it, and the loser has to do a particular thing with this goon.
I don't like goon.
Maybe
either.
drink it out of a shoe.
I don't.
Maybe.
Shoeies!
I mean, you can do shoeies. Maybe they have to drink a whole glass and scull a glass of it.
Or
We'll make
maybe
something up.
you put it on the Hills Hoist and you spin it around and you play
Yeah.
Goon of Fortune.
I don't want to have to buy a Hills Hoist just to play Hills Hoist.
Oh, I don't have one either. Broadcast, can we please get a Hills Hoist so we can play Goon of Fortune?
If you want to send us a Hills Hoist.
Send us $1 so we can buy Goon and we can buy a Hills Hoist.
But yeah, leave it in the comments. We want to play a couple of games. If you've got any drinking challenges, that's one thing that has been asked of us a few times since the first video went up. I've heard, you guys should do a drinking challenge. And I feel like we should combine that with maybe Mortal Kombat on the arcade machine one week.
I'm going to get stomped. I can't play Mortal Kombat and I can't drink for shit either.
It's perfect.
It's not good.
It's a good suggestion.
I think that if people have any suggestions, questions, comments, please leave them in the comment section below or hit us up on Twitter. You can find me at Lucky Bones. You can find us at Boneyard Arcade.
You can find me at Grimm Bones and hit us up anywhere. Give us any kind of suggestion. If it's something like you should use a screen when we're using a screen, I like your thinking. It means that we're ahead of the game. But at the same time, if it's like, I want you guys to get drunker every week, but I want you guys to do it while you're playing a stupid video game, or I want Gabby to wear a different cosplay now that I've watched the video 1,000 times.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of views will get you different cosplays, so maybe let's go with that.
Hit us up with stupid suggestions, because I'm usually down to do dumb shit.
Yeah, down for shenanigans.
Until next episode.
Yeah, take care and subscribe. Bye, guys.